there is anything in history that has humbled the modern-day American people and brought them down on their knees regardless of color, race, or origin, then it's got to be the September 11, 2001 attack at the World Trade Center in New York. But as the world turns and time burns, memories fade away and wounds begin to heal. Over a decade after the Twin Towers were destroyed in the greatest attack against Americans on the U.S. soil, there is visible progress in the efforts both to remember and rebuild. One World Trade Center, also known as the Freedom Tower, is growing by a story a week and will soon boast the title of the tallest skyscraper in the Western Hemisphere once again. Now at 90 stories, work is continuing around the clock on projects at the site, including a transportation hub, multiple office towers, and a museum dedicated to the 9/11 attacks. The completed memorial, which has now turned into a tourist site, comprises of 2 open reflecting pools in the footprints of the fallen buildings, which were opened to family members for the first time on the 10th anniversary of the attacks. The memorial pools are nearly an acre each. Plaques line each pool, carved with 2,983 names of those who died in the terror attacks on September 11, 2001. The memorial incorporated nearly 1,200 requests from victims' families to place the names of those near those of the loved ones, co-workers and friends. It covers half of the 16-acre site and contains 150 trees. Of all the trees in this historical vicinity, this pear tree is the most important. It became known as the survivor tree after sustaining extensive damage but living through the September 11, 2001 terror attacks. In October 2001, the tree with lifeless limbs, snapped roots, and blackened trunk was discovered and freed from the piles of smoldering rubble in the plaza of the World Trade Center. The tree was originally planted in the 1970s in the vicinity of the buildings 4 and 5 in the World Trade Center complex near Church Street. Now that it has been planted at 9/11 Memorial, the tree will grow among the hundreds of swamp white oak trees. The year September 11, 2001 will always remain fresh in the minds of many Americans about it really befell the country that saw so many lives being lost. But as the country moves forward, move ahead of that, the recovery is still very slow. The memories of the people affected and the families are still very fresh, and therefore they always come here to remind themselves of what happened. This perhaps calls upon the whole world to remain vigilant about terrorism. Meanwhile, the final component of the spire at the site has been installed atop the skyscraper, making One World Trade Center the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere and the 3rd tallest building in the world by pinnacle height. Its spire reaches a symbolic 1,776 feet in remembrance to the year of the American independence. The building, which was meant to be called the Freedom Tower, will however be called the One Trade Center, as the second one also gets completed.
For you, you want that house, you know. And you don't like that one.
The new World Trade Center complex will also feature 3 other high-rise office buildings and the National September 11 Memorial and Museum. Unlike the first one, this new World Trade Center is strong, secure and robust to design, in which columns are designed to take over 4 or 3 other columns should they fall for some reason. It is designed around a strong, redundant steel frame consisting of beams and columns connected by a combination of welding and bolting. Its frame lends substantial rigidity and redundancy to the overall building structure while providing column-free interior spans for maximum flexibility in any case. Its thickness of the wall is 3 foot, call it 91 centimeters, with reinforced concrete walls for all stairwells, elevator shafts, extra wide pressurized stairwells, plus a dedicated set of stairwells exclusively for the use of firefighters and biological and chemical filters throughout its ventilation system. This therefore means that in case of a similar attack again, the building simply swings sideways but cannot fall on the ground. Mukitale Moses, WS Television.